I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're diving into a thrilling mystery of one of my favorite authors. His name is James Frazee, and he has penned a powerful book. It is called Searching for Sara. This suspenseful novel follows Alex and Leslie as they navigate a decade-old mystery while being stalked by a dangerous killer. As secrets unfold, their journey not only tests their relationship, but also their survival in the face of deadly threats. We're delighted to have this talented author join us here once again today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. James, great to have you back on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure. This is such a great sequel to Mosquito Bites. It actually feels like a standalone because it's just a great story in and of itself. Let's give the folks at home an overview of what Searching for Sara is about.
Okay, it revolves around two people, Alex and his girlfriend Leslie, who they met when they joined a new company. Um, in this sequel, it starts at the trial of the corporate management who's been under trial for some dangerous drugs, pesticides that they were doing, and they murdered a couple of employees. So Alex is one day, Leslie gets a note under her door that has 5 words on it that says, "Your daughter, Sara, needs you." And that's just all mystery there. And what happened is that she had been raped in high school when she was 17 years old. And she carried the baby to term, but was told the baby died. So she gets this note, and we don't know she doesn't know whether it's a real note that her child is still alive, or if it's a hoax that the people are playing her, that they put in prison. So the whole book is the relationship between Alex and Leslie, trying to find if this is a real baby out there, a real daughter of hers, or whether it's a hoax. At the same time, they're being stalked by a serial killer who they thought was in prison, that they had put in prison from a prior incident. So the book is how they go about finding if this is real or whether it's a hoax, and also puts a real strain on the relationship because this is just a new couple. They've only been together like 9 months.
Right.
And they're quite young. Is that what's going to happen? Is there a child out there or is there not? And yet they have to watch out what's going on.
You've really raised the stakes here. That really compels interest when there may or may not be a baby that survived. And I think that's such a fascinating element of the story. The book, of course, introduces a killer stalking the couple. Tell us a little bit more about this character and his motivations, or their motivations, I should say.
Okay. In the first book, The Mosquito Bites, the company Sterling Chemicals has developed a new pesticide. The pesticide is supposed to be a miracle drug. It kills every insect on all crops. Also causes the plants to increase their productivity, which is going to be, feed the world. Well, this product is with the company that Alex just started with. 2 other people who started looking at this chemical in the company also had disappeared for some reason. One died and the one they can't find. Alex runs across some documents show that this pesticide is a real danger. It may save the world as far as food supply, but it's also going to destroy humanity over a long time. So in the first book, it's his job, and they work with Leslie. They have to expose the company so this pesticide doesn't get out into the hands of the farmers. At the same time, the executive wanted to go out because without this pesticide, the company's going to go under, they're going to go bankrupt, and the top executives want the big bonus. So it's kind of a fight between profit versus money, or versus what's good. So they hired the serial killer to go after Leslie and Alex in the first book. They in turn then expose the company. The killer gets caught, but in the second book, he escapes from prison. And now when they're searching for Vera, he's out to get his revenge from them.
Yeah, and that's another fascinating aspect of this book. It started out as one book, Mosquito Bites. It grew into Searching for Sara. So it begs the question, of course, will this be a trilogy? Are you working on a third part?
I am working on the third part, yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I don't have enough yet to tell
Hmm.
on that at this point, but there will be a trilogy on this
Wonderful,
with
wonderful.
with all the same characters.
Wonderful. Well, they're great characters, so we're glad to see more stories around them. When you started working on Searching for Sara, is this what you envisioned, or did it kind of just take on a life of its own when you picked up where Mosquito Bites left off?
Well, I wanted something to put a strain on their relationship to see if I could see if they could go through it, and I came up with the idea of Leslie having lost a child, or not losing a child, but a child being her pregnant and the child dying.
Mm.
And then finding out that maybe the child will be alive. How would she handle it? And how would they go through and find it, baby, if it's still alive, or it's actually a 10-year-old by this point? If the 10-year-old is still alive, when all they have is a piece of paper with 5 words, your daughter Sara needs you. And the fact that the word Sara was spelled the way it was, Sara, rather than with the H, it gave them a clue that might be true because people don't spell Sara that way. And so that leads, and the ending is going to be quite fascinating because it ties back to the first book.
Is fascinating, like so many different twists in this book. And like you said, you've raised this, like I said earlier, you've raised the stakes very, very nicely. Did your work or does your work in academia influence your writing at all?
No, I didn't actually start writing until I was in my 70s.
Wow.
I retired, and that's when I first wrote my first book. And it was just something I had in my mind that I wanted to tell the story. The Mosquito Bite was based on my real first job when I got right out of college, and that's what started the whole thing. And then building the characters led to the second book. But I actually didn't start until I was in my 70s.
Amazing. I mean, well, you don't even look like you're in your 70s now, so that's hard to believe, which is a good thing, of course. Now, I think we talked about this a little bit during the first interview, but for the folks at home who haven't seen the first part of our interview, have you envisioned this as a series of films?
Actually, I'm looking this more because it was written. I'd written it to be more like a mini series
Hmm.
rather than one continuous film, but to be a mini series like on something like Netflix or something.
Right,
Because the way I write it is that each chapter has a suspense that makes you want to go to the next segment,
right.
and so it's kind of built for a minute. Going into a film be fine too.
Yeah.
So, but it was
Yeah.
mostly written for a mini series.
Okay, from our lips to Hollywood's ear, for sure. This would be a great series. So, folks in Hollywood, if you're listening, pay attention. James has a couple of great books right here that are ready to go, and a third one is on the way.
So
Were there any challenges in writing Searching for Sara?
the real challenge was the ending.
Mm.
I wanted the ending to be such that would that leave the person surprise the person in the ending, as opposed to, well, it's going to happen. They're going to find everything's going to be okay. I didn't want that type of ending. I wanted the ending that was a good ending, yet it's a surprise ending. How it all came together. That was the biggest challenge: how to put that together, and how to combine all the characters, and so they all came together at the right time.
Exactly. And you also want an ending that's satisfying in and of itself without a third book,
That's
because you don't
correct.
want people saying, oh, we got to read another book now. You want to make it
That's
feel
what.
like I've enjoyed this. This is a great ending, but now I want more, you know?
Well,
Yeah,
that's a reason I wrote both books that way, that they could stand alone, but also they can be read in sequence and they all fit together. Because
absolutely.
a lot of people don't want to read 3 books; they'd rather just take one and stop there. So I wrote it for all audiences.
Like I said, it could be a standalone. The story itself is very, very compelling, that's for sure. And talk to us a little bit about the Midwest setting from your upbringing. Did that influence the tone or the
Oh yes,
atmosphere of the book at
oh yeah,
all?
yes. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Minnesota. The
Mhm.
true and bred is from a small farm community type of thing. So my character actually was raised in Minnesota and has a small town outlook, but he moved to the big city, moved to New York, which I did right out of college. After I left college, I moved to a large city because I wanted to get in a large city. So still keeping the Midwest values and not getting hung up in all of the big city phenomena. And when I'm looking for characters for the book, I tried to. On the other hand, I wanted Leslie to be a New Englander.
Mm.
So I wanted Alex to be a small town boy and Leslie to be more sophisticated. So she's from Connecticut, and how to get those two together.
Gotcha. Great, great. Well, there are also interesting regions to have the characters from as well. So, and each bring a unique set of values to the equation as well. Tell us how the relationship between Alex and Leslie evolves as they face increasing danger in the book.
Oh, it actually mainly involved because they had a common goal. Okay, as opposed to trying to go to each other. But the first book, the fact that they found out that the product that the company is selling was dangerous, kind of was there. Yes, there was always a third character, Carol, who was the wife of the guy who had Alex's job before he had it. He was killed by the company because he found the secret. So she comes in and she kind of guides them through and explains to them how she thinks her husband was killed rather than dying naturally. And so she's kind of the emphasis to get the whole thing going. And then there was this relationship because Alex and Leslie just had the type of person that just fits together. They care deeply about each other without any expectations from each other.
Absolutely.
Yet they had this common. And the second book is the whole thing I'm worried about is, is Alex going to stay with her? Because she's not looking for a child. She didn't, and see if the child, that's going to overcome her, make her that more important than him. So I want to bring that into it, whether the child was real or not.
Exactly. Wonderful. Lots of fascinating aspects to this book. It is called Searching for Sara. It is a suspenseful novel that follows Alex and Leslie as they navigate a decade-old mystery. There's the book right there. As they navigate a decade-old mystery while being stalked by a dangerous killer. As secrets unfold, their journey not only tests their relationship, but also their survival in the face of deadly threats. It's a great book. It's part of a series. This is book 2, but you can read it. It's perfect as a standalone. If you love the idea of what you've heard today, you can get the first book as well, which is Mosquito Bites. And then the third book is still being worked on up here by James, and it's sure to be a terrific book as well. James, thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it very much.
I enjoyed talking to you as well. To the folks at home, thanks so much.
Okay.
I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.